Spring fever, so it says. Well, we're approaching spring fast and rapidly. Can you believe winter went that fast? Well, that's good news for us, I believe. None of us really enjoyed much of the winter, to be honest. On Twitter, we're at Waiter to Win, as you know. Otherwise, we're on a WhatsApp number that you can join us, and look forward to hearing from you there. 4racing.tv on streaming. You can pick us up there too. Otherwise, right here on DSTV channel 240. In terms of the favourites, we've got 8 races to get through. A turf card, Darren Burrows in form, and he's online. And Darren, let's talk about the way the early market is. I know Piers Stradham's going to be there today. He's riding this awesome Dreamscape for Cliffy Miller, whilst his nephew Kyle Stradham rides for his father Jacques on Spring Fever. What's your fancy?
Well, I thought Dreamscape the horse to beat. She made a fair debut against a smart horse in Peach Daiquiri. Even though she was beaten 8 lengths into second, she could go very close to winning here, and Striker is in the saddle. Spring Fever looks a main danger on form.
Okay, Spring Fever, the danger. Let me bring Daryl Marie in here. Daryl, let's talk about the PE meeting. Good to see Piers Stradham there and riding.
Yeah, absolutely.
His thing.
Blonde bomber, eh?
Looking for 7 winners to 5,500, eh? That's
7 to go.
7 to go. Yeah.
Clyde, I don't know if you listen to those, is it Track Talk?
Yes.
Obviously, those interviews. Now, they interviewed Nicholas Paddock from the Cliffy Miller stable prior to Dreamscape's debut. And they said she's a lovely filly. She's certainly talented. So, she was well beaten on debut, but that winner could be anything, Clyde. Peach Daiquiri, there was money all over the world for her. So, I thought that was a very encouraging debut. And with Pierre in the irons, I think she could go one better this time around. Obviously, Spring Fever put up a nice local debut. She just has to repeat that effort a week later, and she could contest the finish. But I'm leaning towards Dreamscape. And, from, UK, straight to Kabeche, Butom, the first winner for us.
Maybe he does, Striker. Let's see. Okay, let's put up, what have we got? A bipod, guys. Let's put that bipod up for you now for the PE meeting. And says, Daryl, let's take us through your bipod there.
Clyde, the first leg we're bankering number 7 Dreamscape. Now, she's actually a half sister to Goethe. I think that's how you pronounce it. Brett Crawford trains him. He won 3 in a row. So he's also got a long sprinting lines. And then I'm bankering the second leg, number 3 Mansurua. I think she'll run in the first 2. So those are my 2 bankers. It's 60 Rand perm, and I'm spending 300 Rand, Clyde.
Second race, 2,000 metres. I'm going straight to Darren Burrows. He's got something that he wants to tell us. What you like here, Darren?
Well, I thought the horse to beat Mansuria. Now she's progressing the right way. A very good third over course and distance last time out. And the jockey dropped a whip at the 250-metre mark. So she could have finished a bit closer. Golden Grace brings Western Cape form into the race. And on her recent form, she should be very competitive in this type of company. And St. Patrick's Day has a say.
Not out of it. Okay, Mansuria. Daryl, I know you banked this in your bipod.
I did. Clyde, much improved effort last time out on the turf. It was in her second start for a new yard. The second horse, Global Forest, came out and ran second next time out in the Western Cape. In a handicap, I think she's good enough to certainly finish in the top 3 for our PA. But she should take some beating. Golden Grace.
Who will ride it?
Yeah, I'm not too sure.
Because JP rode it last time, right?
We wish him well. We wish him well. Whoever rides it will ensure that.
Okay, well, that's good.
Clyde, you know that Golden Grace, Western Cape Raider, she's had her chances in maiden handicaps. She gets another crack this time out in a weaker centre. She could give Mansuria something to think about. Keep shining one from there directly and indirectly twice the master. So those are the 2 that should fight it out.
Interesting. Harold Crawford, is that right? Has Harold been to PE? Harold Crawford goes to Port Elizabeth now and then.
I don't think he goes anywhere besides the stables club.
And Michelle Ricks, yeah, well, there you go. Okay, well, I think that may well be a bit of a runner, but the boys are on the favourite, so let's get straight into it. Here's our selection for you. We put it up where we're going a PA. We're bankering the 3 Mansuria. We don't know who's riding it because we're recording this early, but I'm sure by now you know who is. By 1, 2, 6, by Banker the 13 later. By 2, 4, 5, 7, 8, 10. By 1 and 2, by then Banker 5 later on, second last leg of the PA. And right at the back to wrap up 216 Rand, we've put up 1, 4, 5, 6, 12 and 17. Welcome back to the third race on the card. Now it's time to have a look at our pick six. The boys have worked out. We'll get straight to the action for you. I'll have a look at what the market recommends in terms of race number 3, and it shows that Montresor's favourite at 13-10. Second choice 16-10 about Sugarberry, who's number 6 on the card. Samanga Kamala and Alan Krief had a great last week, so they've got to be respected. And 6-1 bar 2. Does the race end there, Darren?
Well, I thought Sugarberry, the horse to beat. Now, she could be very progressive up in trip. On pedigree, she's going to love the mile trip and further in time to come. And then her main danger is Montresor, but she is best over 1,400 meters. Her limit 1,600 meters, but she doesn't quite find a finish over a mile.
Okay, let's ask Daryl Marie what he likes.
Yeah, Clyde, I actually liked Sugarberry last time out, and she disappointed me. That was on the poly track. She's back on the turf and trying further. There is stamina in her pedigree, so she could be better than her recent form. She will prove the one to beat. Montresor is a very limited filly, fair local debut. She's had her chances, but it will be no surprise to see her exit the maiden ranks today. And because they are both limited, I've opted to include Japan Approval. Now, she herself has had her chances, but last time out, the saddle slipped. She is going to improve on her recent form. She's better than what she's displayed in PE thus far.
Let's get our selections up then straight away onto the third. Have a look at what we're doing in this particular race where we're going 1 and 6. This is Darren's pick 6. 2-horse race. Darren, you're bankering 5 later on, I see.
Yes, I'm bankering Nexus in the 5th leg. I really fancy his chances. He looks very well in. I'm going 1 and 6 by 2, 6, 9, 10 and 13, by 2, 5, 6, 7, 10 and 12, by 1 and 2, that's a match race, Santa Therese and Rain in Newmarket, by bankering Nexus number 5, and the last leg 1, 4, 6, 8, 9, 11, 12 and 17.
Welcome back to Weighted to Win. Race number 4 is run over 1,200 metres. Time to get a jackpot on. 33-10 about the Source Global Mark, number 1 on the card from the Jean Nel stable that Charlie and Ndlovu's riding. Second choice is number 2, who is Absolute Noir, 7-2. And then you've got 11-2 about a horse like 13 on the card from the Sharon Cotton stable, who's been in really good form too, that Louis Makatwa is riding, called Surveyor Man. Darren, let's talk about this race over the 1,200. And what's your first choice?
I thought Surveyor Man, the horse to beat, showed pace on debut, got outrun the final 200 meters. We've seen 3 winners from that form line. He should rate the horse to beat at a decent price. Absolute Noir should run a big race, but he has a short burst of speed, so it has to be held up, and then he accelerates strongly. And Little Sonny can improve on his local debut as well as Potente.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to have a chance as well. Pierce Stradham's taken the ride, and when he gets on horses first time round, I suppose you've got to look out for that sort of improvement. That will naturally come, don't you think? No.
Not
Why?
for me.
Not for you.
Maybe you can have a few rand on him, but I'm not.
What do you?
I don't like a great melody form line whatsoever. I'm playing to beat that. I think the market's all wrong over here.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be a flood of money for the 13. How do you pronounce it, Claude?
I don't know. What's it called? Soyo Varman or something.
Yeah, okay. Well, he's been rested and gelded. I thought that was a decent debut. Showed a lot of pace on that occasion. If he's improved with the gelding, he's certainly going to prove the one to beat, Claude. That form line, I think we saw Zatara Magic winning from there. And you know that stable cannot do anything wrong at the moment.
Yeah, they're flying.
So I'm just hoping he's returning to the track fit and well and fancied. I think he'll make a winning comeback.
Okay.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him start favourite. He's in the region of what price now?
11-2, 6-1
Yeah.
you could get. Number 13 we're talking about here.
Okay, then number 10, Little Sonny. Now, his 2 runs up the straight were fair. Just put a line through his last start. It was around the bend. He's making his local debut. The tongue tie gets fitted. And SK and Alan Krief team up over here.
Yeah,
He'll
good
improve, Clyde. So I'm going to go 13 from 10 for me.
Interesting. I spoke to Alan Krief and I spoke to him last, just say well done with Samanga and all that. And it seems like Richard Faree's also got a WhatsApp message from one of our WhatsApp group guys to say that Richard Faree probably got the job for Alan Krief from 1 September. But it'll be interesting to see how that all plays out. What we're doing here, Daryl's found a bit of a shrewdy. Let's put it up. We're going with the following, taking jackpots 2, 6, 9, 10 and 13 by 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 12 by 1 and 2 later on, and 5, 6, 8 at the back. 270 Rand. 2,400 metres. That's where Jack and Ginger's going, and Jack and Ginger's 7-2 favourite. Second choice, number 1, Princess of Fire at 5-1. Joints with the American Landing at second choice at 5s, and then 6-1 and better about the others. This race, the time of recording, we don't know who's riding Jack and Ginger, but we'll go to Darren Burrows, get an idea as to what he likes. And the second pot.
I like a horse called Al Megwa. He's a lovely, big looking horse. He stays all day, wasn't disgraced in the Derby 3 runs back. And on his last start, he's 5.5 kilos better off with Princess of Fire. So I think he's a horse to beat. But I have respect for American Landing. He's an interesting runner because he's an 8-year-old, but he's only raced over 2,400 meters 3 times, and he actually won the East Cape Derby as a 3-year-old. Off his current rating, back over 2,400 meters, he could win a race of this nature.
Interesting, because that's where Barack came from, Irish Rain, so that could be a bit of a shrewd.
Yeah, this is a very difficult race, Clyde. Have you ever backed a winner ridden by Donald Bochelili Boyle?
Not yet.
Not yet.
I'm hoping to do it today.
Have a few rand on my boy Reese. I think we've mentioned what cracking form the stable's in. He's obviously clearly of a very competitive mark, well drawn, fit and well clad. I think if there was a more popular jock in the irons, he'll be much shorter in the market. So he does represent some value. Jack and Ginger's in cracking form, very fit. He goes up handy. He'll give you a shot for your money. And Wah is Pierre on Super Noir. I mean, that horse's form is dismal. A few runs back, he was being prepped at the feature race. He's going to rise since then. But Striker takes the ride. Rating come down, back in a handicap. I think he's at 50-1, Clyde. If you're playing a quartet or a trifecta, include him.
Yep. Well, it's family, right? So family got to support family. Maybe he couldn't get a ride.
Why would he want to take the ride, though?
Well, he's there anyway. He might as well ride what he wants. But I hear you. We'll put it in.
Especially over 2,400. It's a long way to go.
You don't want to ignore Striker at 50-1. Trust me. All right. Well, let's put the bet up. Here we go. We're going to do the following in this particular race. We're taking jackpots and we're going wide with 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, and 12. In the first leg of the jackpot, the 4 is in there. That's straight and right. Ahead of 1 and 2 in the second leg, then 5, 6, 8, and then quite a lot of horses at the back. 1, 4, 5, 6, 8, 11, 12, 13, 17. It's the second jackpot, and we're spending 48 Rand 60. That's if you take it once. Otherwise, spend 50 Rand to get 10%. You're back with us. Good. Race 6 is over 1,600 metres, and this is that 2-horse race Darren was talking about earlier with Daryl Marie about St. Teresa and Rainy Newmarket, those two. The market's got 19-10, almost 2-1 about Justin States, horse Rainy Newmarket, and Alan Greef and St. Teresa step out here at 5-2 is the second choice. So we know your favourite horse is in Port Elizabeth by now, Darren, but do you like her today?
Yes, Santa Teresa, one of my favorite fillies in training. She cracks a draw this time around. Last time out from a deep draw, she tucked in at the back of the field, and she had 8 lengths to make up turning for home. She wasn't disgraced. This time she'll have every chance and could prove too good. Her only danger is the Cape Rainy Newmarket. She's a classy filly, and it's hard to believe she's still a 2-time winner. But I think a really good exacta boxed 1 and 2. It can pay in the region of 8 Rand, 10 Rand, and we can have a strike on those.
All right, so it's those two, you agree?
Yeah, they're going to dominate the finish, Clyde. Be very disappointed if they don't pull a good few lengths ahead of the balance. This is a listed event, Clyde. So Rainy Newmarket's here for a purpose. She hasn't seen the winner's enclosure for close on 2 years now. So being well weighted over here, she could get it right this time around. But I think St. Teresa from a 1 draw, that's key over here. Because last time out, she just had it all to do from the worst draw of all. This is an optimum course and distance. I'm going to lean towards her over Rainy Newmarket. But like Darren, you can fire the exacta.
Fire the exacta. It's those two. Difficult to separate the two, I guess. But this is what we recommend that you do in the race, is pretty much use both and catch that exacta a few times. It's up to you how much you want to play, but we like both 1 and 2. Can't separate them really. Race 7 over the mile, and Nexus the one to beat, currently at about 2-1 or 19-10 to be absolutely exact when we recorded the show. Piers riding Nexus again, winner last time out at KwaZulu-Natal for the Justin Snaith stable. Hasn't been the side of the world, Darren.
I've always been a big fan of Nexus. He's taken on some of the best horses in the country. That was a super win last time out when his saddle slipped as well. Piers Stradum is 2 from 2 aboard Nexus. He actually won a feature on him in Cape Town a while back. And from a one draw, I think we can have a decent strike.
Decent strike, 2-1's the current price. You're going to have a bet?
Very hard to beat, Cloud. He's
should this horse be 2-1 or should it be shorter?
His best weighted, I think he's three pounds best in over here. The form line worries me, though. There have been 4 runners, all 4 unplaced. But like Darren touched on, Pierre gets a great tune out of him. He won the Grade 2 Peninsula and a cracking ride in the Western Cape a few months, the last year, I think. But a lot in his favour, Clyde. Grazing in the grass isn't a slouch, and neither is my bestie. I think there's a weight reversal. 1.5 kgs in favour of grazing in the grass in the run on the 27th of May. So I think he'll fill the exacta position. And then my bestie for the trifecta. So Nexus ahead of grazing in the grass and my bestie.
The Form 9 Darrell's talking about Battle Force, Willow Express, Arctic June, Baldak. None of them have come out and done much or anything for that matter since then. But Nexus has been in very, very good company. Let's not forget about the likes of Hoodspruit and Silver Operator and Real Gone Kid. Those are very, very good horses. So Nexus, the right one to beat. Our straight up bet. Let's have a look. Race 7. That's our play. We're going straight in for Nexus to win this race. Pierre Stradum's riding. Well, time of recording is on. This was Psychedelic Eric for the John Nell stable at 9-2. Open race. If the market's anything to go by, Darren, you agree open or you like this early favourite?
I do like the favourite, but I do see it as an open race. Psychedelic Eric improved since being dropped down to the minimum trip and should rate the horse to beat. Then there's not much separating Sanctity and Narcos on form. They should be competitive, but the surprise winner could come from a horse like Calvino. I think he's gonna strip a much fitter horse. He's having his peak run, I believe, and his ratings down from a 79 to a 54. So 25-1, don't exclude Calvino.
Yeah, that's the Darren Burrows we know. Calvino, you find those 25-1 shots, number 17. And if Daryl Marie rubber stamps it, then we know what to do.
I like number 5, Don Reposado. Do you know what price that is?
Also 33. Well, that's 33-1. Gee, we're going to get out of it the swingers and trifectas here.
Jeez, I'm rubbing my hands here, like.
What a boy. Right. Tell me about this horse.
Don Reposado. I know he's held on his later starts. He's only 2.5 kilograms better off for a 5-length beating. But Clyde, I think back in the 5 furlongs is key. So he could get closer, if not reverse that form, with Narcos, who showed a very gutsy, determined finish last time out. I'm not too sure if the drop is going to suit him, but he only got a £2 penalty, so one has to believe he's going to be competitive again. And then Ticket to Ride. I think this 5 furlongs on the turf is going to suit him because we saw in the Western Cape, he likes to be run off his feet and come with a late rattle. And if that's the case, he could get into this race very late and fill a position over here.
All right, well, Com Naidu's got all of them. What's his name? Zitzi has got Ticket to Ride, of course. Maybe that's the trifecta. What are we going to do here the last, guys? You've heard they're both like outsiders. We're taking exactas. That's the safest play. You may want to use that in the trifecta or the quartet for that matter, but the numbers are 1, 4, 5, 6, 12 and 17. Spending 150 Rand. It'll cost 30 Rand a time.